How would a rapier fight against a katana? We put on our sparring gear and we found out for ourselves. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Kai. I'm the owner of Ludus Ferocia Historical Combat and the head instructor at that school in Norfolk, Virginia. And we've been seeing a lot of videos come out on rapier and katana, and we so happen to teach these two disciplines at our school. Now, a little background about myself. I am a Kenjutsu instructor in a reconstructed system known as Shin Moretsu Ryu, and we do teach a lot of HEMA disciplines at the school, such as rapier. I am not a rapier instructor, I am a student of the rapier, and we've been seeing a lot of videos all over the internet talking about how a katana, such as this one, would fight against a rapier and the pros and cons of the two. We are a very sparring-centric school, so of course we had to find out for ourselves. Now, going into this fight, I knew I was going to have a severe reach disadvantage because rapiers are much longer than katanas. So I wanted to use the broader blade of the katana as opposed to the rapier to potentially control the direction of where my opponent is countering and attacking. But that's enough talking, let's get right in it. On the left we have TJ, who is also an instructor with the school, but he does not teach rapier. He teaches broadsword and saber, messer, and longsword. And on the right you have me, wielding a sparring steel katana from Purple Heart Armory. And boom, right there, you can already see I get hit right in the arm. I thought that rising up was going to get me out of measure of his point, and he was able to just shift it over and lean. So right there we get a double, and I would say that the double on my side was a little bit stronger, but this is a point that Scholagrim made in his video, that just because you get stuck with the point doesn't mean that you're instantly incapacitated. You know, we continue on, and TJ's sitting here trying to probe with the point to find my weaknesses, and I'm trying to keep my blade in front, and right there I get a headshot, which is called a shomanuchi. Now, he got a double on me on this one as well, right on the arm, but it was more of a superficial cut. It wasn't a point-driven attack. And I'm trying to experiment with different guards. I have to modify my stance. I cannot have a deep stance with the rapier because he ends up cutting for the legs a lot. And right there, I tried to get in measure and hit him. I missed, and he got me right in the face. I'm starting to understand his measure a little bit more, and as you can tell, I'm being able to back up in time. But you can barely see that point. If it wasn't for that stopper, you don't see the point at all. It's so fast. So right there is probably one of the only clean exchanges I got in the fight. I was able to move his arm to the side and get a solid cut on his body. It's really hard to move in on him because he can just change his point in an instant, whereas me, I have to kind of charge it up in there. He got me right in the face. I'm trying to use like an Iron Gate style technique, which is not as prominent in Kenjutsu, and it didn't work with the rapier. It's really hard to see that point. And right there, he gets me right in the arm, and I get him right in the head. This is a good example of getting stuck with the point and then doing an after blow to the head with a cut and thrust sword. So this one I did hit him in the head, and I was able to underhook his arm to control his blade. So by the time he grabbed my blade, I had already cut him in the head, and to ensure that he could not get a deep cut or thrust on me, I underhooked his arm. He went for my leg, but it was already too late for him. This one's really interesting because I technically did move his blade offline, but again, his tip control is so good and the blade is so light that he can move it right back onto center before I can even get that last cut in. And honestly, that last cut didn't even connect. I was completely out of measure and I thought I was in measure. So now I'm trying to keep my distance and work off of his point and stay out of measure because I keep getting hit. and this one was a double. He hit me right in the face. I got him right down the body. Both probably would have been fatal. So overall, guys, really, really fun fight, and we're probably going to do this a lot more, just doing weapon versus weapon. I really think that those thought experiments are just fun, even if they're ahistorical. They're not something that would have happened in that time period. It's still fun to think that we have the ability to test these things out, and we learn a lot about body mechanics when you fight a weapon that is on the opposite spectrum of what your weapon is. So a rapier is so thrust-centric, even though some of them can cut. It's such a thrust-centric weapon that the fighting style is so different. Katana is primarily a cutting weapon, even if it can thrust. It's compromises, right? But a katana's power comes from the edge and being able to cut. The fighting styles between the two are going to be completely different. If you guys like videos like this, please leave a comment down below and let me know how you would want us to change it and try it out. We have a full facility to our disposal with film equipment, and this is stuff that we love to do for fun. So we can make more, and we have so many different types of weapons to try. We plan on making a full featured video on the rapier versus the katana in the near future, and I'm gonna bring in our instructor, Matt Shares, and I think he and I are gonna give it a go at the sparring match as well, because he is a very experienced rapier fighter, and I think it would be cool to see what his perspective is fighting the katana. Thanks again, guys, for joining us, and please like and subscribe to help us grow. We are planning on launching multiple videos as well as an online training portal for all of the disciplines we teach. So that is Japanese swordsmanship, longsword, Langmesser, saber, Scottish broadsword, and many, many others. And we're going to have portals for all of them. We also have an amazing seminar coming up in Norfolk, Virginia on April 27th and 28th. If you are interested in taking a class on Doyle Irish stick fighting, please join us for the class on 27th and 28th. The link will be in the description. Thanks, that's all I got. Bye.